He missed his cue. He was supposed to say, and now here's Lena. So, good morning, everyone. My name's Lena Wilson, and I serve on the main board of RBS. And on behalf of all my colleagues, welcome to Gogarburn. We're delighted that this is the third time we've hosted the conference. I don't know what happened to the first time. I don't know who hosted it then, but we are delighted to be doing it for the third time. The conference and the whole breadth of the conference agenda, I think, is going to highlight for us all the opportunities and challenges we all face to deliver the UN Sustainable Development Goals and the Paris Climate Agreement. We all know that even in the last couple of days, the issues have shot up the agenda, and yes, awareness is really high, but there's a lot of, oh, there's my country song playing. You hear that down there? That was a great ringtone. Remember and switch your phones off. The issues have shot up the agenda, but a lot of research is showing that there's a real confidence gap between knowing about the issues and knowing what to do about it, and having that clarity of action. And that's not just for individuals, it's the same for governments, for businesses, and it's certainly the same for banks and financial institutions. To tackle the SDG challenges such as population growth, urbanisation, pollution, business needs to develop a whole range of new models, new focus, new products and new services. And entire industries are going to be transformed, there's no doubt about that. And that's going to impact the financial sector hugely. It's estimated that $5 to $7 trillion per annum each year is going to be needed to fund the achievement of the SDGs by 2030. I'm hoping that this conference will highlight many of the areas under development in response to this, including the information that's needed, the risks and the opportunities. We hosted a fantastic event at Coutts in London just in recent months with David Attenborough and Mark Carney, specifically on climate change. And Mark Carney said that the system is very much part of the solution. Companies that don't adapt, including companies in the financial system, will go bankrupt without question. But there will be great fortunes to be made along with the path aligned with what society wants. And I really think it's worth bearing in mind that this is not all doom and gloom. There's a huge opportunity for individuals, entrepreneurs, businesses and people. So what are we doing about it in RBS? You know, the concept of ethical finance has been really interesting to me in thinking about today, as if money itself can make ethical judgments. I don't think it's that finance is or isn't ethical. It's the people in control of finance making the decisions that determine whether or not capital flows ethically. And for me, certainly serving on the board of a very large bank, that's a huge responsibility. RBS, more than most, have learned from this in the last decade, and we've completely transformed as a result. We're a smaller, simpler and safer bank, and we're focused on serving our customers well. It's also meant that we've become a much more sustainable bank, and that ethos entirely influences what we do, how we do it, and where we do it. And I have to say it's one of the main reasons why I was attracted to serve on the board and align my own brand with the organisation. And I just want to give you this morning a couple of examples of that. On climate change, for example, we've made a commitment to £10 billion of funding to sustainable energy sector by 2020, looking at low carbon generation and energy efficiency, low carbon vehicles, green bonds and loans and private placements. And we've been recognised as a top leading lender to the UK renewables sector over the past 10 years. Last year, we made very significant changes, and we announced it in this room at our AGM, to our lending policies to reduce fossil fuel exposures. We no longer provide product-specific finance to new coal-fired power stations and thermal mines, to oil sands and Arctic oil projects, or to unsustainable vegetation and peatland clearance projects. We're one of the very first companies globally to commit to the climate change initiatives around renewable energy, electric vehicles and energy productivity. And I think that was a very, very important step for us. There is a lot of pressure for us and other banks to go even further. Banks also play a leading role in society and actually in people's daily lives, and that's very important for us to acknowledge that. And we need to go beyond just fair products or great customer service. We've been aiming to use all of our resources and capabilities to help individuals and businesses to succeed, to live their best and better lives. And that's why we've been investing such a lot in financial education and supporting entrepreneurs. For those of you who don't know about Money Sense celebrates its 25th anniversary this year, and it provides financial education for all 5 to 18-year-olds. We've focused on 7 million young people. 1 in 3 schools across the UK benefit from Money Sense, but actually, as is often the case, Scotland leads the way. We have 90% of all Scottish schools participating, and we've got 7,000 volunteers delivering interactive classes to young people. We'll be calling for compulsory financial education in England's primary school curriculum, as we already have that in Scotland and Wales. Our Entrepreneur Accelerator Network, we have 12 hubs throughout the UK, and it's the largest fully funded entrepreneurial accelerator network in the UK. We've helped over 6,500 entrepreneurs in the hub, and we've supported them with a whole range of initiatives. Last year, we launched Back Her Business, aimed at a crowdfunding platform to improve gender disparity in entrepreneurship. I'm sharing these examples with you not just because I get to do a word from your sponsor and tell you all about all the great things we're doing, but actually to talk about the changing nature of how we see our role, not just as providers of finance, but as supporters in helping people, community and businesses do better and be better. And as a result, we've become a more sustainable and a much safer bank. We certainly have more to do, but I'm really proud of the work that Ross, our outgoing Chief Executive, has done with the team over the last 5 years. And I know that Alison Rose, our new Chief Executive, really wants to go down that path herself. Most recently, we've become the founding bank signatory to the UN Principles for Responsible Banking. That's really important to us because we're going to work very hard to commit to develop our strategy in line much more with the Paris Climate Agreement and the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And that's something that the board has spent quite a lot of time discussing over the last year. The issues I've discussed this morning and mentioned to you, I know are going to be discussed in detail over the next few days and throughout the conference. And I look forward to both hearing about that and the outputs, and also to hearing if there's anything else that we should be doing. But with that, I know my time is up. I want to wish you a successful conference and to say to you once again that RBS is absolutely delighted to be hosting it. Thank you very much.